912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, a weekly look at high school sports in Southeast Georgia, featuring coaches, players, and journalists who know the ins and outs of prep athletics. Presented by the award-winning writers and broadcasters of 912 Sports, and sponsored by Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, and Gibson Animal Clinic. Now, this week's headline.
Week 5 is already underway with 2 games on the slate tonight as Brunswick hosts Islands between the bricks and Wayne County travels over to Benedictine. But tonight on Air with 912 Sports, we'll have the Ross recap. Kevin Price takes an in-depth look at the Brunswick-New Hempstead game. The On Air with 912 Sports game of the week is the Frederica Academy Knights traveling to Caney Bay to take on the Brantley County Herons. And we'll hear from Coach Brandon Derrick of the Knights and Coach Jeff Cannon of the Herons about the big contest coming up Friday night. Kevin Price and I will preview the games coming up on 9/17 right here on Air with 912 Sports. Thanks for watching.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Robbie Ross live on 912 Sports for the Ross recap after this past week's Friday night football games. It was Brunswick in our game of the week defeating New Hampstead 52-24. Marietta defeated Camden 40-17 in Cobb County, Georgia, up in the Atlanta area. Brantley County 21, Bacon 13. Brantley gets their first win of the year, heading into that big showdown with Frederica Academy this Friday night. Coffee all over Salem 46-0. It was Bleckley County defeating Vidalia 26-13. Effingham defeats Lakeside out of Augusta 20-0. Clinch County all over Pelham 40-7. South Effingham and Wayne County in quite the battle there. South Effingham got the win 33-30. Charlton County, somewhat of an upset over McIntosh County Academy, 22-8. It was Southeast Bullock going to 3-0 on the year, defeating Screven County 21-7. Jeff Davis in a struggle against Tattnall County, winning 14-7. It was Appling County going up from AAA all the way to 7A to take on Tift County. Appling County handled that one 24-7. Houston County defeated Statesboro in a game that the Blue Devils led the majority of the time, 24-20. Metter over Savannah Country Day, 40-20. And one final in Geisa, it was Tift area defeating an undermanned and depleted Frederica Academy squad 29-7. I'm Robbie Ross, and this has been the Ross Recap for 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic, Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Hello everybody, Kevin Price for 912 Sports. As you can see, joined this evening by Ware County's TC12 on my right, along with the late Larry Munson, former play-by-play man for the Georgia Bulldogs. My assignment last week was to cover our 912 Sports Game of the Week. Brunswick High School against New Hampstead out at Glenn County Stadium. The final score, the Pirates 52, the Phoenix of New Hampstead 24. Brunswick goes to 3-0. New Hampstead falls to 2-1. This was a matchup of ranked teams. Brunswick number 8 in the state. In Class 6A, New Hampstead was number 10 coming into the ball game in Class 4A. Some notes of interest. The Pirates now off to a 3-0 start on the season for the first time since 1999, when former BHS head coach John Willis led the Pirates to the Class 4A state championship game undefeated before they lost their only game of the season in game number 15 against Lowndes over in Valdosta. Brunswick also now 3-0 all-time in the series against New Hampstead. Brunswick now up to number 7 in the state in Class 6A in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll that came out on Sunday. The 52 points scored by the Pirates, the most by a Brunswick team since they scored over 50 points 4 times in Coach Sean Pender's first season with the team back in 2017. They actually scored 60 points twice in that season. We'll see if they were to do that at some point this year. But the other night, Brunswick had 391 total yards, 252 on the ground, 139 through the air. The Pirates played 2 quarterbacks. Once again, Sutton Ellis was the starter, even though Jeffrey Way was listed as the Pirates starting quarterback. Way did come in and play a good bit himself. Now, the Pirates, the big key for this game was for them jumping out to a 21-0 start, and they did that in 4 minutes with all 3 phases of the game contributing: offense, defense, and special teams. Brunswick returned the opening kickoff 78 yards all the way down to the New Hampstead 4-yard line. Terry Mitchell was the guy who returned the kick. He's a young, promising sophomore for the Pirates. Reese Simmons took it in on Brunswick's first offensive snap from the 4-yard line. After the Michael Finneran PAT, it was 7-0 Pirates. Then on the New Hampstead first offensive series of the game, a pass was batted into the air. Stefan Stanley for the Pirates intercepted it, and Brunswick quickly went 54 yards in 5 plays, with Jacoby Hill scoring from 3 yards out. After the PAT, it was 14-0. Then the special teams for the Pirates got involved again after a 3-and-out. Nick Gray blocked the punt. From the 15-yard line, Brunswick took over on the 9, and quickly Jacoby Hill took it in for a 9-yard touchdown run. After the extra point, it was 21-0 with just over 8 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Now at halftime, New Hampstead was hanging in there. It was 31-16. They got the ball to start the second half, mounted a nice drive down inside Brunswick territory. They were at the 28, but that's where the Pirate defense dug their cleats into the ground and held, and then the Pirates went 72 yards the other way. Jacoby Hill scored his 3rd touchdown of the night on a 16-yard run on 3rd down. After the PAT, it was 38-16, and the Pirates were firmly in control from there. So Brunswick went on to the 52-24 victory. All the running backs contributed. Jacoby Hill with the 3 touchdowns, Reese Simmons with 2. Jaden Drayton took a direct snap and scored. Also, Leon Charlton scored late in the game. Again, Brunswick played 2 quarterbacks. The defense really did a great job overall against a pretty decent New Hampstead offense. Paulie Seeley looks really good throwing that football. I think they'll do good in that 4A region they're in. Probably either them or Benedictine, depending on who wins the game over in the region. The other one will finish second. But again, the Pirates 3-0. They should win this week, barring a major letdown against Islands. And that means, you know what, the Pirates could go in to that city championship game in 2 weeks or a week from now against Glen Academy. The first game of region play undefeated. That would certainly add to the intrigue, another subplot to that game. So that was our game of the week at Glen County Stadium. Brunswick tops New Hampstead. Have a good evening, everybody. May God bless you and the 912.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
All right, Kevin Price along with Coach Brandon Derry from Frederica, and Frederica facing Brantley County in Nahunta this week as our 912 Sports Game of the Week. And Coach Derrick, just sort of a big picture question for you first. This is a GISA matchup versus a GHSA school. Of course, you're from GISA, Brantley County from the GHSA. You've done this before, obviously against Brantley last year, but you played Charlton. You played Calvary Day this year already. You're going to play Long County, which is from the same region as Brantley County. But we're starting to see this a little more and more, Coach. I know Tift Area, the team you played last week, I think is playing in Charlton County this week. Is this a trend that you kind of see just becoming more and more popular, GISA against GHSA, in the years to come?
I think so, just mainly because of travel. It cuts down on having to travel. Our region, you know, you think about it, we started to play Pinewood, it was 2 hours away. We got Trinity, it was 3 hours away. You can go play Brantley, 45 minutes away, and it makes for a good crowd, you know, in Long County. Louis about an hour away, so you start looking at that, people can travel, and it creates a gate, and you know, it's good competition. I think that GISA's proved that we can compete with some of the GHSA schools. You know, sometimes we compete a little bit better, and sometimes we don't compete at all. But you know, we've tried to stay, you know, somewhat to the classification where it's not too big, and you know, I think we've had a pretty successful run. I was one of those guys that kind of might have been one of those first ones to actually do the crossover and say, I'm just need to do it for, you know, monetary purposes, for travel and expenses, and cutting down on things. But we've also played Westland too at one point in time when Coach Dudley was up there. They needed a game, and we had some people back out of one, so we jumped on it, went up there, and it was fun to go play at Westland. They got some great facilities, but we do it. I like to do it, so I want my fans to see what everybody else has. You know, what's facilities look like at other places. You know, and it's a Friday night atmosphere too with GHSA. Band's going to be playing, popcorn going to be popping, and it's going to be a pretty lively crowd. So I think it's a good experience for our kids.
Well, you kind of led me into my next question with that last little comment. When you go around to other GISA schools, I know you see different environments than maybe what you have here. Everybody kind of has their own maybe unique little thing, but football's maybe football, I guess. You still got goalposts on both ends of the end zones. You know, the fields are still 100 yards long and the same distance wide. But when you go to these GHSA schools, I mean, is the atmosphere really that much different, particularly if you play like a AAA school like you will with Brantley or Long, as opposed to maybe playing a Calvary Day School, which is a single-A private school in GHSA? I mean, what is that atmosphere like? Is it very different than playing another GISA school, like going to Bullock or somewhere like that?
It is. If you don't think about it, but the band is a big part of what goes on, and it makes the atmosphere, makes it a lot louder. In a GISA stadium or field, most of the time I can call everything by word of mouth. You know, now I've got to signal some stuff in on Friday nights when you go GHSA. A lot like when we were at Glenn and doing things, because you're in a big stadium and it's loud, and the bands are striking up when they want to, and people are yelling and screaming, and it's a good atmosphere. I can remember when we played Charlton over here at our place, open game, and our kids were like, Coach, we can't hear a thing. Like, it's loud. Like, we're not used to it being this loud. But, you know, Charlton brought the band. They brought everybody. I guess Charlton County that night came over here when we played a couple years ago when we won the state championship with that team, because it was kind of hyped up to be a really good game. It ended up being a good game. You know, it was 21-21 with a minute to go right there. We threw an interception. They ran it back. But it was a good game. But I think it is different. I think that atmosphere is a little bit more electric, you know, and you can even go when we went to Calvary. You know, they got the pep band. It's, you know, you go to Calvary, they got a jumbotron in one end zone down there, and it's all turf, and it's nice at Calvary. And so it's a little bit more electric atmosphere. I think GIS is a little more laid back, whereas GHSA, people get rowdy. It's a little bigger environment at times.
And, of course, with Charlton County, they like to play what Braves fans know as the Tomahawk Chop. And, of course, they play that Indian war chant like Florida State, and they do it over and over and over. And it is pretty special down in Folkestone, for sure. And this year they're off to a good start as well. So, Coach, obviously you and Coach Cannon know each other very well. Of course, coached here at Frederica, coached at Glenn Academy before y'all came over here. So y'all are coaching buddies, longtime friends. Y'all are responsible for this matchup, home and home series. Played here on the island last year. So, of course, playing up there. Frederica is the second year of this deal, but just out of curiosity, have y'all by any chance already talked about renewing this again for another 2-year period, or is that going to be something that happens later on?
We'll get together probably right after the year. I would guess we probably would, but it doesn't bother me. I think it's just good. It's a good rivalry. It's a good distance. We have good crowds. When it gets down to it, you need to make some money. As crazy as it may sound, but they brought a good crowd over here last year. Hope to bring a pretty good crowd over there, and I think it's a good rivalry. It's a good close game that we can all go and play and compete, and hopefully get better when we go out there and go against each other.
And of course, another layer to this thing. Not only are you facing Coach Cannon this year, you're facing his son, I guess, who is now the sophomore quarterback. I guess he's going to start again Friday night, and so you're facing two Cannons, and I guess you've known him since he was maybe knee-high to a grasshopper, so does that kind of add a little more intrigue, a little flavor to it?
It makes it pretty funny. We talked about it the other day, me and my wife were talking about it, like, I'm old. Like, when we moved here 13 years ago, he was 2, and we were over in the locker room, and me and Cannon were on the offensive staff at Glenn, and Kirkland and Jessica and all them was coming to the games, and you don't really think about that, and all of a sudden you're going against, Coach Cannon, and you're going against his son, which you've seen grow up, for the last 13 years, and it's pretty funny. You just kind of look back and go, man, I've aged. But he's done a really good job. Kirkland does a good job managing the offense. I know his dad, if he's listening, puts a lot of pressure on him, but Kirkland's done a good job, and he's done a good job executing what I can see this year, and he's going to get better and better every year.
And Coach, people around Southeast Georgia, around the 912 area code, may not be familiar exactly with your team this year anyway, but last year you called yourselves the Dirty 30. That's because you only had 30 players. Now tell everybody how many people you're going to be taking over to Caney Bay, dressing out on the sidelines Friday night.
I'll only have 20, but one of them will just be a kicker. So, we'll be able to rotate 19 fully guys in. My one kicker there, he just does kicking duties. So, we'll have 20 kids we'll go in with, and, they work hard. They try to give me everything they got. We're, like I said earlier, we're a little bit inexperienced in spots, and I'm sure Coach Cannon and them are identifying them on film right now. But, we're going to go in. Hopefully we give them a good game and play well, and maybe we can sneak out a Nahona with a win. But it's going to be tough because they're a good football team.
Well, Coach, I listened to your podcast more than once, but even this week talking to Robbie about the challenges of not only playing with 19, but practicing with 19. And just so people can hear it in case they did not hear your podcast before watching our show tonight, talk about how difficult it is to prepare for a game when you only have 19 players.
Well, this is a sport that's driven on competition and battles, and physicality. And when you got 19 kids, the competition is not too hyped up, and then, you can't be as physical as you would like to be on a Friday night in practice because if somebody gets hurt, you're in trouble. So it's been a real challenge, one, to even give our kids a look, and then to generate the game speed and that stuff. So it's a challenge. You do a lot of half-line stuff, and, you're trying to rotate guys around, and you're trying to get everybody ready. So it makes it challenging. I got, like I said in the podcast earlier, we got guys playing 3 different positions on offense, try to create some diversity and put some pressure on some people in different spots. And the same thing goes on defense. It's just a challenge for us. And I think as a staff, done a pretty good job, but we're kind of limited with our staff too. We ain't got 4 or 5 guys on staff. And when you're trying to, 2 of them are down there working with the middle school, so you leave 3 guys on the varsity trying to teach everybody multiple positions and get everybody ready. So I think our guys do a good job. It's just been a challenge, and it's one that we accept, and we'll get our kids prepared the best way we can.
And I think I heard you say you even play a little scout team quarterback, and I know you were a quarterback in your day. Is that right?
Yeah, I look like a pulling guard now, but back in the day, I was a quarterback. But yeah, I had to play scout team quarterback the last 2 weeks to get guys together, so get it ready. Hopefully, give them a look. But I'm old and slow, so I'm sure Gabe Speed, they're feeling pretty confident when they go out there on Friday night. If they're as fast as Coach Derek, they can run them down.
You look like Jared Lorenzen back there now.
yeah. So I'm a hefty righty.
Well, Coach, obviously when you turn on the film of Brantley, I'm sure you see a different team than you did last year. I know you got the best of them last year over here on the island, but if anything, I guess they got a little more offensive firepower than they did last year. They had trouble scoring points last year, obviously, but what do you see from Brantley, the team you're going to face Friday night?
I think they're a year older. I think they were pretty inexperienced last year up front, and now they're a year older, and they're playing well. Like I said, Kirkland's managing offense really good. Got some skilled kids go around them that are pretty good. They do a good job of what they're wanting to do, and they've got a good scheme. They go about it really well. Defensively, they create chaos. They put pressure on the quarterback. They want to get you in long down situations, and they've done a good job with it. So it's going to be a challenge for us. Jeff's doing a great job building the program over there and keeping those guys energized and going and playing. So for us, we're going to have to go over there and try to figure out a way to match their intensity and hopefully make some plays to give ourselves a chance.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, we appreciate it, and good luck Friday, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right, thank you.
Welcome, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and we're here with the head coach of the Brantley County Herons, Coach Jeff Cannon. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Man, we appreciate you being on air with 912 Sports. Coach, you guys are our game of the week. It's a Frederica Academy Knights. We're going to come over here to Caney Bay and take you guys, or play you guys on Friday. But before we get into that, Coach, this is a very unique game. You guys actually were a game of the year last year, and a lot of it has to do with your relationship with Coach Brandon Derrick. Let's go back to the beginning, Coach, year around 2009, 2010. Talk a little bit about, your first impressions when you first met Derrick and what your guys' history has been together.
Well, Brandon and I have been friends for a long time, but what's really funny is I was this close to going to Maryville College to play offensive line and I would have been a freshman when Coach Derrick was a junior there at quarterback. So we really missed each other, just by a little bit, but, as God would have it, I believe in 2009, Coach Derrick was hired as the offensive coordinator at Glenn Academy. I was coaching running backs for him for 4 years, just game planning and spending all that time together. And, he and I both applied for the head job at Frederica when it came open. And from what I was told, it came down to the two of us, and they hired Brandon, who had been a head coach before, and it certainly did not offend me. But what was so wonderful about the whole process was that the folks at Frederica, and then including Coach Derrick, were able to include me anyway. And so I was still able to go over there with him and be the assistant head coach and offense coordinator. And my children, were in school over there for 4 years, and it's just a great place. There were no, when I left Frederica after 4 years, and we had some success there, obviously, and when it comes to wins and losses, but just great kids, great community. My children got a great education while they were there, and so when I left, it was very amicable. It was just it just felt like time. Everybody understood, but certainly, there were no negative connotations or anything hanging on as what led me to leave. Going to Allatoona, so I went up to North Georgia, Metro Atlanta, to Allatoona for a semester, and then got the head job down here. So I came right back, and so to be able to, get them on the schedule was pretty special for me. Coach Derrick means a lot to me, a great friend, and I've learned a lot from him. He's one of the best in the business.
I remember last year when we did this interview, you, I think, were driving home after practice one night and actually put your camera on the dash of the car and recorded, which was a pretty unique perspective as far as film.
Yeah, that's about how that whole week went, if you remember. And Coach Derek's really, he's just called me for years. He can sandbag with the best of them. We called him Lou Holtz for a long time. He would do that, and so he's sounded the same this year too. But I'm going to remind everybody they beat us by 4 touchdowns last year on St. Simon's. So that fact isn't lost on anybody over here in Brantley. And when it comes to listening to Coach Derek talk about his team.
Yep, exactly. Well, Coach, you guys are 1-2 on the season, coming off a big win this past Friday night over in Bacon County. Got a 21-13 victory there, so congratulations. But you're 3 games into your season, Coach. Talk a little bit about what you like about your team, and talk a little bit about what you guys have got to do to get a little bit better.
Sure. Friday night in Alma was the most complete our roster has been when it comes to availability. When we played Charlton County over 2 days on the first game of the year, I had 41 available of 67 Friday night, and I had 40 available of 67 Saturday morning. And when we went to Southeast Bullock, it was with the same 40. But going into halftime, we were down to 37. So it was pretty tough. I think I had, upwards of 90% of our roster available against Bacon. So it was certainly our most complete game when it comes to being as close to full strength as we can be. Mm-hmm. And what do you know? We won the football game. Right. And it was we had a great week of practice. I have 10 seniors. We have outstanding senior leadership and buy-in to our culture and our standards and the things we're trying to do here. So we had a great week of practice, and our coaching staff did a great job on both sides of the ball. And I really feel like those are the things that contributed to our victory. We had some kids play well and step up. We scored on defense. Anytime you can do that, it's outstanding. Joe Willis had 6 tackles and a 30-yard interception return for a touchdown, and it ended up being a 1-score game. And so those things matter. Multiple 4th down stops by the defense, one of them a goal line stand. When you're 3rd and goal on about the 2-inch line, and you knock them back a couple yards, and then on 4th and goal from like the 3 or 4, you stuff them. That's awesome. Right. And so that was a lot of fun. And and offensively, we took the opening kickoff, drove it down, got it about inside the 1, and our sophomore quarterback Kirkland Cannon scored on a 1-yard rushing touchdown, and then we didn't score again on offense till the very end of the game. And but we held the ball though. I think we had 3 drives of 14 plays or more. Wow. That's a lot, and that's us. We did turn the ball over. We threw an interception. But that's us protecting the football and keeping our defense on the sidelines so that they can rest and recover. And I just really feel like we were able to dictate some things Friday night for the first time this season, which was a lot of fun. So
well, if you can control the clock like that, you can keep their offense on the sidelines. It's pretty hard to score when their offense is sitting on the sidelines. But with Friday night, with Frederica coming into Katy Bay, we know this is they've got one of the better running backs in the state. With Jordan Triplett. How as a defensive coach do you prepare for a guy like that?
Well, you just I was doing an interview Friday night after our game at Bacon, and was asked about, he said, he kind of led the question or the statement with, it looks like you finally found an identity. And what he meant was on offense. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're absolutely right. It's the way we play defense. But nothing in how we coach defense, and Coach Fields, our defense coordinator, does an outstanding job, and his staff and how they prepare. But nothing really changes when it comes to what we hang our hat on, and that's playing fast, great block destruction, and then beating the ball up. We got to take the ball away, and so we've got to make sure tackles. We need to gang tackle, make sure we're gap sound and things of that nature, and just play as fast as we possibly can. When we're going full speed and we're playing fast, we can play some good defense.
Right. And is that what you expect to see, a bunch of Jordan Triplett when they come to town, or will they spread it out and toss it around a little bit?
Well, Thomas Veal was their quarterback for a couple of years. I'm pretty sure he's out with with a broken arm. And so Bryce Riley's been taking the snaps for them at quarterback when they're not direct snapping it to Jordan Triplett or single wing stuff. So, Bryce Riley's a good football player. He's a good athlete, and so you've got to prepare for that, and you've got to be able to adjust when they go into their Cherokee and Apache sets and things of that nature, snapping it to Jordan. So we do expect number 4 to get the ball a lot, but when he doesn't have it, we expect Bryce Riley to be in the good football player and good athlete that he is, and so we're just going to have to prepare for all of it.
Right. Well, Coach, should be a great atmosphere here in Caney Bay on Friday night. Congratulations for being the game of the week. Like I said, it's an opportunity for Brantley County to get 2 wins in a row, which is will be a nice feather in your cap. I think Frederica's down numbers wise, but they still got some really, really talented kids in that mix of 25 or 27 or however many players that they're going to bring over here. But like I said, congratulations on the win against Bacon. Looking forward to seeing how things turn out Friday night. But hopefully when we talk to you next week, we'll be talking to the 2-2 Brantley County Herons.
Thanks, Sean. Go Herons.
All right, appreciate it.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and joined as always by podcast host and writer Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, Sean. Good to be here talking high school football again.
Yeah, man, it's hard to believe we're already going into week 5, man. It seems like, yesterday we were, having scrimmage games, but we are going into week 5. We've got our game of the week between Frederica and Brantley County. This is a crossover between GISA and GHSA, and we've already talked to both coaches, but this is an interesting matchup, Kevin, on a bunch of different levels. One, you got your interconference thing going on there. You've got coaches that coached with one another, for a long time at Glenn Academy. You got 2 really good friends, going head to head. So should be an interesting matchup down there in Caney Bay on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. Those that don't know, Coach Jeff Cannon at Brantley and Coach Brandon Derrick at Frederica, they both coached with each other years ago at Glenn Academy. That's where they got to coach with each other for the first time and became good friends off the field as well. Then both guys went to Frederica as well to help establish that program even further. It had already been started, but got that program going real good. And Coach Cannon left over there, and Coach Derrick is still there. But those two are responsible for getting this matchup together. Last year, it was played on St. Simon's Island. Coach Derrick won the ball game with his Frederica Academy Knights. This year, the Knights will travel to Nahunta and take on Brantley County on their home field. This year, Brantley County, for all practical purposes, may have the better team, may have the upper hand playing on their home field. They definitely have a little more firepower on offense. I think we'll have a better chance to score this year some points than they did last year. So from that standpoint, and another interesting facet of this game, I guess, is not only will Coach Derrick have to face his good buddy Jeff Cannon, who will be on the sidelines, but it looks like he might have to face Jeff Cannon's son, who may play quarterback as well. I know Kirkland Cannon the other night in Brantley's win threw for a touchdown and ran for a touchdown in their game last Friday night, Brantley's first win of the season. So that will be another interesting subplot to this ball game.
Exactly. Well, one thing about it, Brantley will definitely have more bodies on their sideline than Frederica will on theirs. Yeah. I mean, poor Frederica's playing with like 22, 25 kids. I mean, that is we thought last year the Dirty 30 was a small group. This year it's even smaller. So we'll see how that plays out into the game. But we'll move right along, Kevin. We've got Brunswick at Islands. Brunswick's 3-0 on the season, playing great football, coming off that big tie, starting off in the season with that scrimmage against Ware, 14-14. And those guys have just kept their foot on the gas, looking really, really good this season. Interested to see how this thing's going to shake out for the Pirates.
Well, of course, Sean, you do. You must be reading off your original schedule. I know you know that this game did get moved between the bricks. That's is right. Islands at Brunswick, and it actually is taking place tonight on a Thursday night. Basically, the synopsis of that is that Chatham County COVID protocols, we're going to call for a 25% capacity in the stadium. So keeping it real simple, that was only going to allow about 175 Brunswick fans to go up there. And I think that would have included the band if they take the band. So that just really wasn't going to work for Brunswick to keep it simple. Brunswick, simply put some money on the table, bought them out, and that game now going to be between the bricks at Glenn County Stadium. But Brunswick off to a 3-0 start for the first time since 1999. Brunswick scored 52 points the other night. That's the most points they have scored since Sean Pender's first season back in 2017. I expect at least 30 on the scoreboard tonight between the bricks. Brunswick should keep rolling, should go to 4-0, and should be undefeated through the non-region schedule going into the big one next week to kick off region play against none other than Glenn Academy in the first region game, also the city championship game.
Right. And one of the things that I wanted to point out, Brunswick beat a really good team last week. A lot of people were kind of down on New Hampstead, but even with their loss, Kevin, the rankings came out. New Hampstead is still ranked 10th in 4A, even with that loss to Brunswick. So a lot of people are high on New Hampstead, but that was a big win for Brunswick here this past weekend. Let's see how they do against Islands. I think they can, they definitely will handle their business and get ready for that big city championship a week out. So, but Camden and Oakleaf, I believe this game has been moved to Camden as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think in the original schedules it had Camden going down to Florida, but I believe the decision was made to move that game up to Camden County. So that game's going to be at Chris Gilman Stadium this Friday night. We'll see how Camden rebounds, Kevin, coming off that loss to Marietta this past Friday night.
No question. I think Coach Heron was actually a little bit disappointed that Camden did not finish off that ball game and get the job done in the fourth quarter. They had played pretty well, maybe the best they had played all season, even though they were down 20-17 on the road against a ranked Marietta team. And basically the bottom fell out, if you want to just kind of throw a cliche out there. Got outscored 20-0 in the fourth quarter, lost 40-17 to make the game look a little more lopsided than it really was. Camden had a shot to win that game going into the final 12 minutes and gave up a score and then just kind of fell apart, really, Sean, uncharacteristically of a Jeff Heron team. So they're going to learn from that. Coach Heron, kind of to your point, Sean, see if they can rebound. They've been getting a lot of pat on the backs. The Wildcats are back. The Wildcats are doing well. Now the players may doubt themselves a little bit. And Coach Heron said, no, we can't do that. We've got to stick to our guns, stick to our plan. Don't let any doubt creep in. Let's keep progressing. Let's keep moving forward. Let's stick to what we know we're doing, what's working, and let's go out and let's continue to progress, and let's play well Friday night, get back on the winning track. I expect that to happen.
Right. And one of the things I wanted to point out, you and I talked about this off air earlier today. Jamie Felix, known for his running ability, big running back, played like 10 plays, Kevin, on defense. It just had an outstanding, job on the defensive side of the ball. I forget. You tell us what all he did, but I mean, it was at an astronomical numbers for just playing 10 snaps on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I think he played 10 snaps, so he did play limited plays on defense, but I think he had 4 or 5 tackles, and of those tackles, I think 2 were for loss, and he also caused a fumble. So in limited snaps, he basically made a huge impact on the Camden defense, and I think that's something we're going to see more of going forward. I think he does have his cast off on that left hand of his that he broke in an OTA down there in Camden County in July. So also, Sean, that's going to mean he will be able to do more things offensively and show you a little more of his talents offensively. They have basically been handing him the ball. Now he's going to be able to take pitches probably. He's going to be able to catch passes. He's going to be able to show you all those talents that make him the prospect that he is. Not to mention, Sean, not only is he a good running back and linebacker, the kid is a heck of a baseball player too. Yeah. That's another story for another day.
Exactly. So we'll see how Camden rebounds this Friday night there at Chris Gilman against Oakleaf. Pierce has got to go on the road, Kevin, for the 4th game in a row. They've got to travel over to Homerville to take on Clinch County. Clinch kind of down this year, but it looks like they may have gotten their legs back under them against Pelham this past Friday night. Pierce, after losing that game to Brunswick in the opening game of the season, have pitched 2 shutouts, shutting out Wayne 25-0, shutting out Claxton 38-0. This is going to be a real good ball game, but I think Clinch are going to have their hands full when the Bears show up in Homerville this Friday night.
Look, I still believe in this Clinch team. I still think they're going to be a force when the playoffs roll around. Right now, I'm not worried about where they are record-wise. I still think they have time to get their act together. I know they were trying some new things this year, particularly on the offensive side of the football. That's maybe a little different than what they've done in the past. So we'll kind of see how they continue to progress in the next couple of weeks. Not going to worry about them too much right now. And despite what happened with Pierce County in that opening game against Brunswick, I really thought Brunswick would probably beat them. And I mean that not to disrespect Pierce at all. I just knew Brunswick was ready. They had that revenge factor on their mind. It was in Brunswick. I didn't expect a running clock. I didn't expect Pierce to ask for a running clock like that. But all that's water under the bridge right now. I knew they would rebound. Wayne struggling for sure. Claxton not really all that good. So they really haven't played necessarily anybody that's really all that good. As a matter of fact, this Clinch team may end up being the most talented team body-wise from top to bottom, particularly maybe even in the starting lineup of a team they played so far. But Pierce is going to be a good football team once again. They'll have a chance to defend that AAA championship once again. I know they still are without DJ Bell, but Pierce is still a good team. They probably should win this one as well. So this is a good little backyard brawl in the 912 area code.
Yeah, looking forward to see how this game shakes out. A big one there between the bricks, Kevin, on Friday night is Coffey's going to be traveling over there to play Glenn. Glenn coming off the big win over Winder Barrow. So kudos to Glenn for getting one in the W column. Going to be tough to put one in the W column against one of the better teams in 5A in the state of Georgia as the Coffee County Trojans come calling. Coach Robbie Pruitt's got, tons of talent on both sides of the ball. You've got Anthony Gaskins at linebacker. You got Maurice Turner at running back. You got the Swords kid at quarterback that's spinning the ball well. Glenn's going to have their hands full Friday night.
Yeah, this Coffee team's not just good; they're real good, and you're going to get to see them in a heck of a heavyweight matchup there in Class 5A in that region against Ware, and of course they'll have a heck of a battle against Warner Robins as well. Those 3 teams playing each other are going to be really fun to watch. And, no doubt, Coffee's going to come on the road and be, not just a favorite, maybe even a heavy favorite over Glen Academy. But you're right. The Swords kid is throwing the ball around really well. I think he had close to 150 yards passing the other night and 3 touchdowns. I think 2 of those were to Maurice Turner. And Coach Rock told me earlier this week that they didn't guard him real well last year. And I think the Bowie kid for Bainbridge matched up with him when they played Coffee a couple of weeks ago, and Bowie couldn't handle him. So, and Coach Rock joked that we don't have anybody like Bowie. So, so that's going to be a tough matchup there for Glenn. But you're right about them on defense as well, Sean. They're real good in the front 7. We know they're always known for a good physical front, and they're also really good in the secondary. So another typical Coffee defense as well. I think the name of the game for Glenn is just to continue to show improvement. They did that against Winder Barrow, even their Winder nowhere near the caliber of opponent that Coffee's going to be. But Glenn had a week last week to work on things, to work on themselves without an opponent on the schedule. We'll see if they can continue to make strides this week, win or lose. Big ball game for them against a really good opponent. And then they're going to face another good opponent next week, obviously, in a region game that also will decide a championship, the city championship against Brunswick. So 2 big weeks back-to-back for Glen Academy right here. It's time for them to step up, man up, and see if they can play some good Red Terror football like we're used to seeing from this ball club.
Yeah, their season, the direction of their season happens over the next couple of weeks. That's for sure. But you spoke of the Bowie kid that covered Maurice Turner. Ware County's going to get firsthand this week seeing the Bowie kid. Ware travels over to Bainbridge on Friday night. A big matchup. This team almost beat Ware County last year, Kevin. As a matter of fact, Bainbridge had the ball inside the 10-yard line when Ware County made the stop with the clock running out and was able to hold on to I think it was a 6-point victory against Bainbridge. So we'll see. A lot of those Bainbridge Bearcats are back this year. The Bowie kid that did not play against us last year will play this year. For everybody that doesn't know, he's a 5-star, committed to Georgia, decommitted to Georgia. Now he's committed to Texas A&M. We'll see where he winds up playing his college ball. But this kid is legit. He can play anywhere he wants to, in the country. I mean, he's that kind of talent. But Bainbridge is kind of wounded right now. Coffee got him a couple of weeks ago. Then they went through a lot of COVID issues. Then Thomasville got him last week and got him pretty good. And it's like Coach and I talked about on our podcast this morning. You would have thought, you lose to Coffee, okay, your feelings aren't really hurt that bad. They're one of the best teams in the state of Georgia. I'm pretty sure that Bainbridge did not have that Thomasville game marked as a loss at the beginning of the year. They probably expected to win that game going into it. So now you got 2 losses. But this team's they're no stranger to adversity. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago when they won their 5A state title, they started out the season 1-4. So they have the ability to bounce back. And it's like Coach said, these guys are going to catch a spark at some point. They're just hoping, Ware County's just hoping that spark don't come Friday night against the Gators.
Yeah, that's true. Their pride is probably hurt right now. Speaking of the Bearcats, they are 1-2. I think they got a forfeit victory against Valdosta, if I'm not mistaken. That's what's showing up on Max Preps anyway. Of course, Max Preps is not always the gospel, but anyway, that is what's showing up. But on the field, they are 0-2. You're right, losing to Coffee. A lot of people are going to lose to Coffee, whether or not Warner Robins and Ware do. I guess we're going to find out. But right. A lot of people are going to lose to Coffee. But they lost that game, I think, 35-21. Now, Thomasville is a AA team. Bainbridge is a 4A team, so they did lose to a team 2 classifications below them. But, hey, Thomasville ranked in the state, I think as high as number 4 or 5 now, depending on what poll you look at. And they are undefeated, and I believe they beat a really good Brooks County team that, albeit just single A, they could beat a lot of teams in higher classifications than themselves as well, certainly when they bring them hammers with them. But anyway, Thomasville, no slouch either. So they play some good teams on the field. But this Bainbridge team is athletic. I saw them on film against Glenn. Glenn played them in a preseason scrimmage, their second preseason scrimmage. So they've got athletes running around all over the place. So this is going to be a fun Friday night game for Ware County. Bainbridge obviously not afraid to schedule folks. They're playing a third good football team on the field. Valdosta would have been another one had they gotten to play that game. But TC12 having a good year. We've talked about it. Sean, the Norton kid, definitely a difference maker in that offense for Ware County. He's certainly a big compliment to TC12 and what he can do running and throwing the ball. I do expect Ware to continue to do what they're doing, moving that football up and down the field, running and passing and piling on the points. I do think they'll win it, but the Bearcats will certainly, I think, at least provide a challenge for 2 or 3 quarters anyway.
Exactly. And shout out to Cartavius Norton. As of last Friday, before the games were played last Friday, he was leading all of 5A in rushes. So that just shows you he's a very, very talented young running back who's definitely going to play at the next level. We'll just see where he winds up. But Kevin, let's go through the rest of the games because there are a lot of interesting games that are going to be played. Bradwell's going to travel to Applin. Tatnall's going to be taking on Bacon County, who's 0-3 on the season. Tift area, another GISA, is going to travel down to Charlton to play the Indians. Effingham's going to play Howard. Long is at Jeff Davis. Liberty at Statesboro. That's another good thing. Liberty County, their school systems are back to playing sports. Liberty's going to play Statesboro. Bradwell's going to play Applin. Those guys have been on the sidelines for the last 3 weeks, so it's good to see those guys getting back in the mix. Brian's going to travel down to MCA. MCA's kind of licking their wounds from last week after getting beat by Charlton. Richmond Hill is going to travel to Northside Warner Robins. That's going to be a tough ask for Coach Matt Lazada and his Wildcats. Piedmont's going to be taking on Robert Toombs Christian Academy. Dublin's going to travel to Swainsboro. Pelham, coming off that loss to Clinch, is going to be playing at Toombs. Vidalia, 0-2 on the year. Nobody expected Vidalia to be 0-2 on the year right now. You got to play Richmond Academy, and then Wayne, another team that's winless on the season, is going to be playing Benedictine, and that's another Thursday night game up there in Savannah. I believe that might be a TV game, WSAV or one of those Savannah stations up there. So that's why that game's getting played Thursday night. But hey, get out and see a football game this Friday night. A lot of great competition all over the 912. Appreciate everybody watching On Air with 912 Sports. And until next time, may all your check marks go in the win column.
This has been On Air with 912 Sports. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Southeast Georgia high school sports. On Air with 912 Sports has been brought to you by Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. This has been a presentation of 912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports.